This video goes along with an optional extra practice worksheet for homework support. So remember, your instructions are always kind of the same right here. Make sure you have all the parts so that you get full credit. Even if you get the answer right, that's only worth a point or two, right? If you don't have all the other pieces there. And I've noticed sometimes people aren't putting down what they're trying to find in step A. So you can label it A, B, C, D so you know they're all there, or you can just write it out. I'll use the letters just so you can see. So here, just suppose you pay back $870 on an $800 loan you have for 145 days. What was your simple annual interest rate? State your result to the nearest 100th of a percent. Use 365 for days per year for this one. So sometimes you're going to be just asked to find the rate. Just use the regular days. Time always has to be converted to years for these. So we would want to take our 145 and divide it by 365 for this one. Sometimes you use a banker's year, which is a little bit different. Use 360. So I've tried to write the directions for that in the e-homework and on your papers too. So here we have, we're paying back this 870. That's our end amount. Okay, A for simple interest. Or sometimes we just say P sub N. This is the initial principal, $800. And we're trying to find the annual rate. So find R, or you could write, actually I'll put a small r, you could put R equals question mark or something like that. For the formula, I'm going to write that in here. We have a pretty standard one that we're going to use, but which one? We have a few different versions. So this one, since I'm trying to find the rate and I'm given the end amount and I'm given the initial amount, I'm going to use A equals P sub 0 times 1 plus RT. Okay, so I'm going to then fill in the values that I have. So I have A is $870. I have P sub 0 is 800. I don't know R, so I'm going to leave that for now. And I know my time is 145 over 365. So I'll write that down, and then I'm just going to leave R as the variable. And then I go ahead and do the solving process here. So 145, you can't just add the 145 over 365 to the 1 like that. You have to follow your order of operations. So first we have to clean this up. We want to simplify. So we're going to divide both sides by 800. Just using a little bit of algebra there, get that out. And that'll make things a lot better. So we're going to have 870 divided by 800. Make sure you don't subtract this one. It's not set up to subtract right there. So then we'll have 1.0875. And then we're left with 1 plus 145 over 365. Just leave it as a fraction for now, R. Then I'm going to subtract 1. So I'll have 0.0875 equals the 145 over 365 times R. Now I'm going to go ahead and do that out. 145 divided by 365 gives me approximately 0.39726, so on and so forth, R. I'm going to leave that in my calculator. And then I'm going to divide both sides by that number. So I'm going to hit, I'm not going to clear, I'm going to hit 0.0875 and then the divided division button, divided by, and then I'm going to hit the second function up in it's usually in the upper left of your calculator, and then the answer button, which is just above your negative, kind of down by your enter symbol in the lower right. So that holds your previous answer, and then hit enter, and I will get R equals 0.220258, so on and so forth. If you're not comfortable with using the answer key, the answer button, then you can just type in, if you go out like 4 or 5 digits out after the decimal, you should be fine. Now we just need to convert this to a percent. So our final answer would be D. I'll write that over here. The annual simple interest rate is 22.03%. You want a nearest hundredth of a percent. So got to look at those values there. And that's it for number 1. Okay, now we're going to do number 2. How much should Mike deposit into an account at 9% compounded monthly? So I know it's going to be compound interest there, in order to have $2,500 available for a round-trip plane ticket to Sweden in 24 months. So remember, time has to be in years. So 24 over 12 would give us T equals 2 years. My rate is going to be 0.09 or 0.09 if you want. To have 2,500, that's going to be my end amount, my piece of N. What else do I have? Oh, I have that it's compounded monthly. So my K would be 12, because that's the number of compounding periods of 1 year. And then what am I trying to find is how much should he deposit now? So I can just write P sub 0 equals question mark if I want to be kind of quick with that. And then I can just go ahead and write the formula down here. So it's going to be P sub N equals P sub 0 times 1 plus R over K to the NK. So in this case, just remember time is actually N. So I'm going to change that over here as well. And then go ahead and solve. So I'm going to plug in what I do know, what I'm given in the problem. So P sub N was 2,500. P sub 0, I'm just going to leave. That's my initial principal. 1 plus R is 0.09, K is 12, so 0.09 over 12 to the 2 times 12. That would be my 24 compounding periods total. So first I have to work out all that stuff. So that's going to be 2,500 equals P sub 0. So the way I'm going to type this into my calculator, I'm going to actually start with the 0.09 divided by 12 and hit enter, and I get 0.0075. Then I'm going to add 1, and I'll get 1.0075, and I'm going to raise that up to, I could just type in 24. So, but in case it was a harder one to do, you could use your parentheses. So you could do parentheses 2 times 12, but make sure you're raising it up to an exponent first. And so in there, you should get 1.196413, so on and so forth. Now we have to divide both sides by this number that I just wrote there. So just leave it in your calculator, type in 2,500, and then divide it by, and use your second function, answer. I think I showed in the lesson videos where to find those keys on the multi-view. But again, you could just type in, 4 to 6 digits, so not give too much rounding error. So then I have P sub 0 equals 2089.57851. And I'm writing out the whole thing for now. That would continue on. And then in my sentence, I'll round that off to the nearest cent. You could, sometimes it's round to the nearest dollar, whatever the directions say. So then I'm going to answer in context. Mike should deposit, just to make sure it matches up with what I was trying to find. And then I give closure to the problem. Mike should deposit $2,089.58 now. And that would be my answer for number 2. And feel free to set any of these up on your own if you want, as we go. And then check them against the video. So number 3 will be find the simple interest rate if $1,200 earns $81 interest in 9 months. So we have 2 different kinds of interest things. We have the actual interest rate, which is R. This is a simple interest. And then we just have what the money amount is, right? So one thing's a rate, which is a percentage, and the other is just a dollar amount. So we have $81 for our capital I in 9 months. So that's time, and it will be 9 over 12 for years. So I'm trying to find the rate. I need to use the formula I equals PRT, or P sub 0 RT. And then I need to just plug things in and solve. So I have 81 equals P sub 0 is $1,200. Time is 9/12. And R I'm just going to leave. So then when I go ahead and calculate this out, I'll start with 9 divided by 12. I get 0.75, or you could just do that in your head, times 1,200. And that'll be 900. So I get 81 equals 900 R. And then divide both sides by 900. And I get 0.09. So then I'm going to go ahead and write my sentence over here. The simple interest rate is 9%. Okay. For number 4, we're going to use the banker's rule for this one. This is another simple interest, and it's a short daily kind of loan. So sometimes this is done. So I just want you to be aware of that and what the banker's rule is, because your homework mentions that, and the electronic homework. It's just a bunch of mixed kind of problems from different publishers and stuff sometimes, so they do it a different way. You borrow $625 for 105 days at a simple interest rate of 4.7%. What is the interest on the loan? Use the banker's rule, 360 days, to represent the number of days in a year when working on this one, since that's sometimes done at banks. So what I'm trying to find is the actual interest on the loan, the dollar number, so capital I. I'm given enough information where I can actually just use I equals PRT for that one. So it kind of makes it nice. And then I can just plug my values in. I equals 625 times the rate, 0.047. Careful of that. Make sure you go 2 places left. And then the time is 105 over 360 this time. So when you type this in, start there. 105 times 360. And I get, oh, sorry, times divided by 105 divided by 360. And I get, for this, I get 0.291, so on and so forth. Just leave it right in your calculator and multiply by 0.047. And then you can hit enter or not. Maybe you should, if you hit enter, you should get 0.013708, then times the 625. And I will get I equals 8.567708, so on and so forth. So then my sentence, oh, I guess this was C. This is D. My sentence, I owe $8.57 in interest. Okay, so that's it for page 1. I'll do page 2 in a separate video. Have a great day.